The Gaza Marine field contains 1.6 trillion cubic tons of natural gas.
So since Donald Trump came out yesterday and basically said he wants to own the Gaza Strip, or wants us to own the Gaza Strip, I have been getting these tagged in these like crazy. So is there a whole bunch of natural gas off the Gaza Strip? That is the question. And I'm going to show you all of the data, okay? I'm going to show you everything we know. So in 2019, the UN published this study. And this study is over the cost of the occupation of the Palestinian people and the unrealized oil and natural gas potential. And I have read every word of this study twice. Now, the study used the United States Geological Society as a source for how they came up with how much oil and natural gas was in the Levant Basin. And they also used data from a company called BG, which is an old offshore oil and gas operator that eventually sold to Shell Exploration in I think it was 2012. Don't quote me on that. I'm just remembering it may be 11 or 13, but it was somewhere around there. Now, in the USGS study of the Levant Basin, this is the area that they are assessing here. This includes, parts of Turkey, Lebanon, Israel, parts of Jordan, Syria's in there, parts of Egypt, Cyprus, and of course, the Gaza Strip, which is a little speck right here, that's in there. And they determined that there was 122 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and I believe 1.7 billion barrels of oil, right? And this is the USGS, which I am not a big fan of. You've heard me say this before, because they're just estimating. They're just guessing. They don't know. Anyway, the USGS determined 122 trillion cubic feet and 1.7 billion barrels of oil. In this whole area, okay? Not the Gaza Strip, this whole entire area. And in the USGS study, and also in the study performed by the UN, and also the EIA and BG, who drilled a couple of wells in Gaza Marine, they all concluded that there was about 1 trillion cubic feet of gas, Gaza Marine, so offshore Gaza Strip, about 1 trillion cubic feet of gas. This is the gas that the Palestinians would have rights to, 1 trillion cubic feet. Not 122 trillion, 1 trillion. Here's the 1 trillion from the EIA website. We have multiple sources agreeing that it's 1 trillion cubic feet of estimated reserves off the Gaza Strip, 1 trillion. Now, a lot of people took this study from the UN and attributed the entire 122 trillion cubic feet of supposed natural resources in the entire Levant Basin, which is this whole area, and they attributed all of that to just the Gaza Strip. So as soon as that war started, people took this study and started making claims that everything that was estimated to exist in this whole area all existed right here in Gaza. Everybody with any knowledge, the USGS, BG, the EIA, all agree on 1 trillion cubic feet off the Gaza Strip. Now, for comparison, this is Pennsylvania. How much natural gas does Pennsylvania have? 63 trillion cubic feet. So the state of Pennsylvania has 63 times more natural gas than what is offshore of the Gaza coast. Now, I know 1 trillion cubic feet sounds like a lot, but we are talking about offshore. We are talking about offshore. And with the costs associated for drilling and producing natural gas offshore, 1 trillion cubic feet is not a ton. It's not a huge amount. Oklahoma has almost 42 trillion cubic feet. The Barnett and Fayetteville's have 9 and 20 trillion cubic feet, respectively. Basically, every place in the United States onshore that has oil and gas activity has significantly more than 1 trillion cubic feet of gas. Yes, just about every place. Even the worst places have more than 1 trillion cubic feet. It is simply not that economically viable to go chase 1 trillion cubic feet of gas when you're not for sure if it's there in an offshore development program. Thanks.